So after a very long season, Viviani Gold Stars win their first Ghana Premier League title. Congratulations to them. They become the third straight team from the Western region to win the Ghana Premier League. So Samatex won it last season, and then Midiama had won it the season before that, and then Viviani Gold Stars. Obviously, they're doing things well in the Western region. Congratulations to them down there. And also, I guess it's testament to the good work that these teams do. I think if you look at Viviani Gold Stars, one of the better run teams in the league, of course, they have some level of funding from the community, and the mining activities that happen in and around it are heavily sponsored. They have a good enough facility, at least for the local league. If you look at Midiama, they've been stable for a very long time. Moses Amapaka has been able to translate that into a partnership that has given him a very, very good stadium to play in, a very good, stable team to play. And then, of course, you look at Samatex. They also have good infrastructure, good management, pretty efficient team. All of these three teams also have very good local fan bases. So congratulations to them. And I think maybe there might be a replica for what the so-called traditional teams can learn in perhaps getting your own arena that accommodates a reasonable level of your fan base. You don't need to put 20,000, 30,000 people in the stadium all the time for you to know that you're doing well. Those are some of the lessons that I guess they can pick up. But congratulations again to Viviani Gold Stars for this achievement. But then, do you get a sense that people are like, so what? And that was, kind of the feeling I got from Twitter today when the league ended and everybody was like doing their updates, so Joy News, City News, TV, 3 Sports, everybody's like, yeah, so what? Viviani Gold Stars won the league. And so people don't really care because they're asking, like, what does this do for the country? Do they, when they go to Africa, are they going to, be able to perform? And, what does that matter? I guess on a personal level for Viviani Gold Stars, yeah, I mean, it's a great achievement. But those concerns are legit from the fans who are asking, what does this mean generally for us? Because although they've won it, are they going to be able to represent the country properly? Going forward. And that is a legit question because here's the thing. Viviani Gold Stars can't play at their home grounds in the Champions League if they decide to play in the Champions League. And most of the time, it's a big decision to play in the Champions League. We've had teams that have declined to go because of the financial cost. I don't know if they are willing to carry that cost. But they will not be able to play at home. They would have to go to play in Takwa, at least in the first round of the Champions League, if they do decide to contest that particular competition. That comes with its own level of cost than just flying in and around the continent in the preliminary rounds by itself is even a headache. So fans are asking whether they have the capacity. Also, some are asking like, did they show they were good enough? The overall picture of the league, it's pretty interesting. So I look at the league table and Gold Stars won the league with 63 points. Bando Heart of Lions came second, and I'll get to Bando Heart of Lions in a bit. The total number of points you can win the league with is 102 if you play the 34 games by 3, right? Gold Stars won with 63 points. Bando Heart of Lions were second, 60 points. Now, let's just do a quick exercise. Last season, when Samatex won the league, they had 61 points out of 102. The season before that, let me see what happened. Midiama won the league, 60 points out of 102. The season before that, Asante Kotoko won the league, 67 points out of 102. That's the best we've had in the past decade. The season before Asante Kotoko won it, the league was won by Accra Folk, 61 points. That was Samuel Boedu's win. And then after that, we had Adriana. Before that, we had number 12 coming in. So I guess you get the picture I'm trying to create. And there are those who say, well, the fact that teams don't get a considerable number of points, we don't have teams getting 70 points, 80 points, is indicative of just how competitive the Ghana League is, that everybody can beat everybody. But the problem with that thinking is this: if you don't have a dominant team locally, that team can never do well externally. It's fact. You can't have 17 teams in a league who all share the same level. And I guess that is why we've had some of the concerns we've had with players that transition from the Ghana Premier League to a higher level and then come back or don't even make it at all, because there is no growth. There's no the competition is flat. Okay, so genuinely, it's something that going forward we need to look at, because we can't have a decade where teams are struggling to hit 70 points when there are 102 points available. Think about it. The same can be said for the goal scorers chart. We haven't had, I think this season, the top goal scorer is going to get what, 14 or 15, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it's a league that is struggling on when you decide to do advanced metrics of it. You know, even the basics don't point to a league that is currently very competitive. And which is why you have a lot of fans who look at Bibiani Gold Stars winning, who look at Samatex winning, who look at Mediama winning and say, oh man. And somebody might say that's unfair. But the thing is this, when Brecum Chelsea were winning the league, nobody complained. Nobody did the man, because everybody knew it was a Brecum Chelsea team of considerable power who showed it on the African continent with the kind of player. They had players who were nationally known, nationally relevant. Same can be said for when Adriana Stars won it. Same can be said for when WA All Stars won it, even though they didn't do too well in Africa. But the team that WA All Stars won the league with was a proper team, you know. So you look at some of these teams, and let's take Gold Stars, for instance. The best known person in Gold Stars is their coach, from Palma. So no disrespect, Emmanuel Kobe, good goalkeeper, but he's not that nationally relevant in conversations. So you just have a team that have won the Ghana Premier League modestly, with players and a team that outside of their own commune, nobody actually knows. And those are the problems of the Ghana Premier League. So as even though there might be cause to celebrate the end of another league season, these are some of the concerns that come up and perhaps impact how people feel about the Ghana Premier League, why they won't spend their time and their money to go for games. Why Pando Heart of Lions, though, let me just say congratulations to Randy Abianis, because last year they were almost relegated. The turnaround in fortunes from being relegated near relegation to what we have seen this season speaks well for them. Hopefully they can build on that. It's weird because the team that was second last year has been relegated this year. Accra Lions were runners-up last year. Very good season. This season they have been relegated from the league. So Bando Heart of Lions, watch out for that one. And then of course there are the big ones, Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Hasselhoff. the problem adults. They are not the problem child or children. They are the problem adults of the Ghana Premier League. So Kumasi Asante Kotoko didn't end their league on a high. I guess they let themselves down. And if you listen to Karim Zito, he says that result against the Accra Lions is what cost them. It's what cost Asante Kotoko a chance to maybe win the league. You know, but this hasn't been Kotoko's best team in a very long time. Let's admit that they don't play well. I've said this several times. They struggle against teams that are comfortable on the ball. Albert Amwa has had a good season. Patrick Asiedu has had a good season. The goalkeeper from Guinea has also done well. Samba O'Neill, the centre back. But you know, when you think of Kotoko, like the expectation is so high that it doesn't make sense, does it, to talk about Kotoko and be satisfied with a Samba O'Neill being comfortably their best player, or a Mohamed Kamara who couldn't fashion a decent career in Guinea come and be their best goalkeeper for a while, whilst Frederick Asari, who was on the tethers of the Black Stars, has suddenly disappeared. You know, so Kumasi Asante Kotoko have work to do next season. I think maybe the Pole incident took a bit of steam out of them, but I think overall this is perhaps one of the weakest sequences of iterations of Kumasi Asante Kotoko as a team that we have seen, and there's a lot of work to be done if they do indeed intend to compete. Because again, kind of like what I said, you can't have all your teams at the same level, which is why we have what we have. Gold Stars have players who are as good as Kumasi Asante Kotoko. It should never happen in any league. It should never happen. You are big boys for a reason. Accra House of Folk as well. Accra House of Folk have gone to some lengths to say that to distance themselves from links between Maxwell Kunedu and Accra House of Folk come the end of the season, thinking that they will keep faith with Ouattara. But Ouattara agitates their fan base. They are not very happy with him. They don't think he can take them forward. I don't think Ouattara is the kind of coach who takes Accra House of Folk forward. And here's the thing: where are the bold appointments? Like Togbe frustrates me. Togbe Afede frustrates me. He's doing a lot of things off the pitch that are right. The infrastructure has been improved significantly in terms of the administrative structure still needs work, but is much better than what it used to be, and is much better than what we've seen other clubs have. But in terms of the investments on the playing material, like I saw House of Folk linked with Patrick Razak this week. Patrick Razak won't sign Patrick Razak for himself. So I don't know like how he even got into that conversation. And they need to up the ante when it comes to their talent ID and spend some money. Look, that's the thing with House of Folk and Kotoko. They are constantly buying on the bargain market. There are good players to be found there. But come on, Kotoko used to spend $1 billion on players. Kumasi Santi Kotoko House of Folk used to compete for players, billion Ghana cedis. This is my money. This is your money. Let's go and chase the absolute best that is out there, not just in Ghana, out there on the continent. If they had to go wherever to find a player that they felt was good enough to compete with their rivals in Egypt, Morocco, DRC at the time, they would go out and do that. But these days, like they seem to have come to an understanding that they are no longer what they used to be, and they are happy with it. That sort of thinking baffles me. How are you happy? How Kumasi Santi Kotoko and Accra House of Folk happy with being the same as Gold Stars, Samatex, and Mediama? No disrespect to them, but shouldn't you be like aiming way higher than that? Shouldn't you be like weighing way higher than that? So for me, this thing that Kumasi Santi Kotoko and House of Folk, this phase that they are going through, I don't know if they are going to be able to break out of this fudge anytime soon, where they can separate themselves from the rest. Because who's going to give you a player? Is Gold Stars going to give you their best player? You have to break the bank for it. If you want a goalkeeper like Kobe, go out there and tell Gold Stars that I want the goalkeeper who just won you the league. Here's your 100,000, here's your 200,000, take it. Okay? Go to the teams that have the players and say, look, I want your best player. Give me this one. That is what has always helped the league to thrive. That is what has always helped those two teams to thrive. But behaving like, mid-table teams in terms of your aspirations and your approach, I don't think that has worked well as a strategy for the teams themselves. And it has absolutely not helped in advancing the case of the Ghana Premier League. And just to put things into perspective for the Ghana Premier League, as it has come to an end. Next season, I hope the Club Licensing Board does a lot of work and is stricter than we have seen. See, there was no broadcasting rights this season for the league season. What we saw was shambolic. There is no top flight league that should be broadcast the way our league was broadcast this season. And I hope the Ghana Football Association take notice of this and work at it to improve that situation, that it never repeats itself, that an elite division is telecast like an amateur league in some nether realm, not a proud footballing country that has seen its football play on national television, on international platforms. No, what we just saw this season is not it. So we better see an improvement in that. But for that to happen, look, kick out some of these venues. Look, Tuba. I know the FA president's team plays there, but Tuba is not a Premier League venue. A lot of the venues are not Premier League venues, not just because they are not safe, but because they are not broadcast friendly. If you put cameras, and that is something that we don't check. You see, when we go and check the infrastructure, we simply check whether a bus can park here, whether players can park here, whether fans can come here, forgetting that the vast majority of the fans who will access the game might access the game either on television or online on their phones. Now, you need to build an infrastructure that is capable of giving them the best kind of angles to what they're doing. So your broadcaster comes and he has just two angles. The president's team plays there. But Tuba is not a Premier League venue. a lot of the venues are not Premier League venues, not just because they are not safe, but because they are not broadcast friendly. If you put cameras, and that is something that we don't check. You see, when we go and check the infrastructure, we simply check whether a bus can park here, whether players can park here, whether fans can come here, forgetting that the vast majority of the fans who will access the game might access the game either on television or online on their phones. Now, you need to build an infrastructure that is capable of giving them the best kind of angles to what they're doing. So your broadcaster comes and he has just two angles. Left side camera, left side of the pitch center line, right side of the pitch center line. He can't do behind the goal. He can't do cameras behind the goal. He can't do cameras on the corner line. It's very complicated to cover a Ghana Premier League match on television simply because the stadiums are not built for it. The worst part also is the AstroTurfs, where sometimes even the ball can't be shown. You can't see the ball. Like you're watching the football game, like, ball nowhere here. So those are like some of the things that it's essential that they fix the infrastructure properly and make sure that, look, I am of the opinion that, look, if you have just even 6 facilities that the 18 Premier League teams will share, let them share. You will be much better for it in terms of what the fans see on television, in terms of the quality of the product that is advertised, than some of the things that we have seen. Okay, because even content creation for the Ghana Football Association is difficult, simply because of some of the venues that they play in. Okay, so tell teams to put in place coverage areas as well, broadcast areas. When a broadcaster comes with their van, they know that I have 6 points to place cameras. A Premier League game is supposed to have minimum 8 cameras. 8. Most Premier League games that you guys are watching are doing 2 cameras. Most of them are doing 2. The big ones, like Kotoko Hearts games, tend to get the 8, the 10. Even that one, some way. But most of the other games you are watching are 2 games. They give you 2 angles, end to end, like that. It's very difficult to follow. So they need the Ghana Football Association, the coming season, look, fix that broadcast issue and get the teams to play in places where you can see, you can help your broadcaster. For me, that is the one important thing that I will end this with. Put the league on television. In the end, we are getting ready to do what? Ghana Football Awards. Felix Romack and his guys, well done. I hope they separate it from the Ghana Football Association. Don't allow the Ghana Football Association to control who wins. Football associations are not supposed to be handing out awards. They can endorse your awards and come and help you because the award gains legitimacy over a period of time. But the Football Association, please don't organize your own awards and say you are giving Player of the Year. And even this is like, who do you give Player of the Year to? Who do you give Player of the Year to? In Ghana, I mean, I'm not even talking about, those out there. I'm just talking about what we have here. Because today is for Ghana Premier League. Who's the best player in the Ghana Premier League? Think about it. Some say Samba O'Neal. How do we come to that conclusion? He's had a decent season. But like I'm sitting here and I'm struggling, to put forth a player. Faisal Chawete, he was consistent in bits and pieces. Razak Simpson, because he made it through to the national team, he was consistent in bits and pieces. But like, who really shone for you? That's a point we need to come to with the Ghana Premier League. So yeah, it comes to a conclusion. Good for them. But I think there's so much room for improvement as the league season wraps up. Tell me what you think. And like I said, this week I'll be coming up with a couple of things. It's the World Cup is coming up soon. The World Club Cup is coming up soon. I'll be covering a couple of games. I'll be doing Chelsea. I'll be doing Man City. I'll be doing Inter Miami. Of course, I need to go and check out Lionel Messi. So we'll do a lot of behind the scenes with that one, not at the actual games. Just to try and give you a feel of what the World Club Championships is and tell you a bit, because I want to link it to the World Cup for you guys, for it to make sense. Because a lot of you are planning on coming for the World Cup. It's not going to be that easy.